Welcome back. Welcome back to the Casual Chaos Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Ash. Someone's knocking at my door. I'm here with, as always, my co-host, Jeff and Bubba. What's up, fellas?
How you doing, Jay? Bubba?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Happy to be here.
Doing great. Hearing things. I think someone's banging at the door. Not sure. Trying to be professional about it, Jeff. But enough about that. Welcome back, everybody. Casual Chaos Podcast, the sports wagering community. We're here every week. It seems like we've been doing this forever. Our audience can't get enough of it. So I think we're going to meet in the middle and say we're doing it for about 2.5 months now. We're loving it. The sports wagering community is all about the community itself. We are trying to help you grow your network, expand your text threads, and get involved in conversations that has everything to do with gambling, right? So we're talking tickets, we're talking parlays, we're talking straight bets, player props, futures. You do it, we talk about it. Send in your tickets to us. Follow us at all the socials at Casual Chaos Live. That's going to be your usual suspects: Instagram, X, Facebook. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Anywhere you pod, you'll find us. So I think we're going to jump right into it this week, guys. We're going to go right into talking tickets.
Let's do it.
We're actually going to dedicate this segment to the Rain Man. I feel like it's a reverse sponsorship here. He was on a heater this week, and he was just peppering the DM. So we're going to give the man his due. We've got 6 tickets coming in the talking ticket segment. Unfortunately, he didn't sweep the leg. He had a couple losers. We're going to lead with those. Kind of a little no harm, no foul, and we'll see how he did with the winners. So let's get that first ticket up here. Talking tickets, the Rain Man segment. All right, we got Matt Olson to homer. Total runs over 8. Mookie Betts also to have at least one home run. $50 would have paid $1,200. I think I already spoiled it. This is the loser segment. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this?
Olson. I know I don't know about the rest of it, but I know Olson didn't homer, so it's worth a shot. And you'll see later that I when we do bragging rights, I had a similar ticket for tonight. So the odds go up in big time when you start talking about picking guys to hit home runs. So it's fun. It's fun to do that every once in a while. But that one didn't come through for him. So
yep. Bubba, any thoughts there?
Yeah, just wondering if he hit like at least 2 out of 3 there, but I'm not sure. I don't know if Mookie or Olson homered. I think that game did go over 8, but I don't know if those two guys homered. So just interesting to know. I mean, it doesn't pay anything if you hit 2 out of 3, but maybe you said he was on a heater, maybe he was heating up. Maybe
exactly.
Exactly.
He's just building a little momentum. Yeah. Quick note before we go to the next ticket. It's 8:39 p.m. Thursday night. NBA draft is on. Jeff, they just Hornets
took Kalkbrenner. Yeah, I saw that.
Took the kid from Creighton. So now we understand why they might have unloaded all their centers yesterday. All right, next ticket. Ketel Marte for the Diamondbacks, home run plus 300, and Arizona to win against the White Sox, 100. Would have returned 1,200. We already checked this ticket from yesterday. Unfortunately, Marte did not seal the deal. So same scenario. Homer or bust.
Did you guys see that story about that 26-year-old fan getting banned from the MLB forever for Marte? You didn't see that? I know we're on talking tickets, but Marte, he's on this ticket, and there was a fan that was giving him grief over his mother who
dying,
passed
right?
away.
Yeah.
And they found out who the fan was. I think it was the White Sox, right? Jesus. And they banned the MLB banned him from baseball entirely. Like he can't go back to a game. It's crazy.
Yeah, Marte was crying the whole deal. Yeah. It was. I mean, again, I don't know exactly what the fan said.
He was on the field and
crying. Yeah.
Talking about his dead mother.
Yes. Yeah. It's horrible, dude.
Where was that?
I think it was Chicago. I'm almost.
Were they playing in Chicago?
It was the White Sox. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, somebody in the stands should police that.
Yeah, I think they found out about it, and then the White Sox stadium or staff or whoever ownership, and they came down and got the guy, and they were like,
Listen, I got a problem with that. It's like if I'm in earshot of that, I'm shutting that down.
Yeah, but that kind of shit happens everywhere, So
it does. It does for sure. It's just when a player's on the field crying like that, they're gonna make it a big deal.
Oh no,
it is a big deal.
It's I feel bad for the guy, but
all right, didn't want to ruin talking tickets, but I felt like I should mention that.
All right, I'm gonna not even try to segue comedically there.
Let's go to the next number ticket. 3. Yeah, next one.
I'm depressed now. All right, Chandler Simpson to steal a base, Cody Bellinger to have at least one home run, 50 to pay 500. Decent return here. Unfortunately, Simpson did not reach base, so he did not steal a base.
If he reached base, he would have stolen a base.
It's usually how it works with him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The Bellinger homer?
I don't know. Last night? Was that from last night? Then no, he did not. He did not.
All right.
These are some long shots he's throwing in there. Let's get to the
It is. Listen, we had a little down moment there talking about Marte's mother passing. So again, love and support to Marte. That's crazy that guy happened. But we had 3 losers as well. So it kind of brought the tone down to the pot a little bit. We're going to pick that back up. I thought my shirt was bright enough to keep the party going. I got depressed for a second. So let's get some winners on here. Let's get the next ticket up here. What do we got there? All right. We've got Nicholas Mata against, I'm not pronouncing that name, over 1.5 rounds at minus 138, parlayed with the Reds at plus 252. I think it's cut off there a little bit, but 50 is going to pay 253. And we have the first winning ticket on the Rain Man sponsored event of Talking Tickets tonight.
Let's go.
I'd love to give a little more color and context around that ticket. A, great bet. B, had no idea that fight took place, and I don't remember if those teams won over the weekend. So
the over-unders in the fights are like hilarious. Rounds on the fights are hilarious because you're it's by the second. I mean, you're sitting there waiting, and it's in the middle of the round, nothing's happening. You just see somebody cheering. You're like, they must have had the over in that fight.
Right. And then you're trying to do the math as they're counting time. Like, am I over? Is it just 37? Is that under? God damn it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Good win.
That's a great win. Let's get another ticket up there, Julie. All right. Seattle to win. Mason Wynn to have at least 1 run and RBI. Plus 267. So 50 is going to pay 133. And this is also a winner.
Yeah. Came through.
Wow. There you go. I thought that would have paid a little more, but good hit.
Yeah, but so if we're just going the 3 losers we posted, it was 150 total. Made that back in the first win, just added to it. Let's get the third one up. Let's get the fans excited here, listening in and watching on YouTube. Let's pull this last ticket up.
It's a good one.
It's a nice one.
Yeah,
nice one. James Wood, 1 home run, 2,000 wins, 7,000. This is a winner in the bottom of the 8th inning the other night. So took it to the last at bat. Little sweat.
That's from BK, right?
Yeah.
That's a good ticket, man. So that's a great ticket.
2,000 wins 7,000. That's a hell of a pull.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congrats to BK. That's a good one.
So, all right.
And like you said, right down to the wire too. So I don't know if he was watching it or not, but if he was, he got pretty hyped up.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say he's watching that one.
Every at bat. Yeah, he's tuning in.
Yeah, say so. All right, we're gonna shift gears here a little bit. You heard me mention the drafts on night 2. Little loco shout out. Who did he go to? Did they go to Philly? Yeah, Johnny Broom, Plant City product, Auburn, Tampa Catholic, just got drafted number 36 to the Sixers.
Wow,
so the heir apparent to Embiid.
It's a decent pick for them, though. He's got a chance to be all right.
Yeah, he's big body. He's got touch around the rim, plays defense. We know his teammates love him. He just apparently can't jump over a matchbook.
You said Plant City?
Yeah, I thought Plant City or Lakeland, one of the two. I think it's Plant City.
Wow.
We went to Tampa Catholic. So, all right. So let's talk about the draft a little bit. Or actually, before we get into the draft, because we forget the NBA Finals was Sunday.
Yeah.
NBA just goes. So brutal Halliburton injury. OKC wins the title. But you have an arena that goes from, amplified to 11, and then all of a sudden it goes to a hard 0, both sides. Everybody's shaking up. You're watching the game in real time going, this sucks, because it's almost inevitable that OKC is going to win, and no one wants to see that happen. Game 7, the other team's best player goes down. Not to mention they were in the game, bucket for bucket to start. So overall thoughts on brutal injury for Halliburton, great, franchise crowning moment for OKC. Great series, 7 games. Just give me what you got.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm injuries happen, right? So that stuff doesn't bother me as much maybe as it bothers other people. And what I mean by that is I don't necessarily feel bad for the Pacers because, again, that shit happens, but I do feel bad for Halliburton. And that was tough to watch. I mean, if you watch the slow motion replay, I mean, you can literally see the thing snap, It was brutal. It is brutal, but awful injury, It's funny, well, not funny, ironic maybe, but three Achilles injuries in the playoffs, right? With Tatum, Halliburton, and what's the dude from Milwaukee? Yeah, Dame Lillard, and they all wore 0. For whatever that's worth, they all wore 0. They all tore their Achilles in the playoffs.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Halliburton. I can't imagine we're going to see him next year.
No, or Tatum.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, probably not. I mean, I don't know. For whatever reason, there seems to be optimism that they think that the Celtics, I think they might see him late next year, but whatever. We'll see what happens. Anyway, OKC wins, which is what a lot of us thought was going to happen before the series started. Initially, I didn't think it would go 7 games. A few games into the series, I changed my mind and did think it was going to go 7 games. But I think we all think the right team won ultimately, right? The better team, which usually happens in the NBA. I think more than any other sport, the better team usually wins the championship in the NBA, right? I mean, would you agree with that?
I'd agree with that. And typically the team with the best team and who has the best player on the floor.
Yeah. I would agree with that. So
I do. You can't take credit away from OKC, but I think the Pacers would have made it a lot closer game, if not possibly won the game. I mean, the guy was hot in the first quarter.
He was.
Yeah. I mean, it's like who knows what kind of night he would have had. Maybe he drops 35 points and they win.
Anything could happen. I mean, he could have dropped 50. I mean, it's possible.
It's just
right?
a shame.
I mean,
it is a shame. Yeah. Like Jeff, like you said, it's like that should happen, so you don't feel bad for them, and you can't take credit away from OKC. But it just ruined Game 7.
Yeah, it was a bummer. It was a bummer.
Yeah, the problem is you can't stop anybody from saying if Halliburton played, they could have done X, Y, or Z, right?
Yeah. You're going to get that. You're going to
They 100% could have won. They don't die, right? So you can go up 10-12, and it doesn't matter with them, right? They're going to come at you. Shit, they were leading at the half, and not Nemhard. Who's the other guy? Benedict. What the hell is his name? Drawing a bank. The kid that comes off the bench for the Pacers.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Benedict is his first name. So he's got a motor. Like that guy takes every possession personally.
Yeah.
So
he's like angry. He's like,
exactly. So anyway, my point was anything with Halliburton in the game is on the table. Could they have won? Yeah. Would they have made it closer? Yeah. All of the above. So it doesn't take away from the win at all. It's still a great win.
Doubt.
It's
just crazy they don't take more precaution too, because this is happening to it. The calf strain, right, quote unquote, always turns into somebody said it in our group chat, like it's becoming a routine now. It's like
I said it on last week's pod.
Right. Yeah, but it doesn't, I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't always happen, right? So is this just a coincidence? Who knows? I mean, we don't know the answer, right? We would think that the medical field would know better than us. And I don't think they would let him play if they thought there was like 50-50 odds that you were going to tear your Achilles.
Yeah, and I was making the comment too, like he's going to play through it because he's got 6 months off, right? But obviously this is what happens. So
it sucks, but I'm sure you'll see players now very hesitant to rush back from this type of injury again. Unless it's like in this situation. I mean, he said it. He was like, look, I would do it again. I mean, you're talking about Game 7, Game 6 and 7 of the NBA Finals.
Absolutely.
If you're a competitor, almost everybody's coming back in that situation. Yeah. But will you see guys maybe take a little bit longer to come back, in week 8 of the regular season, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You know, so
Be a little more cautious.
Yeah, exactly.
More cautious, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if it's the regular season, there's no way he's playing in the game.
No,
You know, and
But-
he said he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, we could chew this up a little bit. You know, this is not a science show, and we're not going to get into.
we're not doctors.
We're not going to get into kinesiology and physiology here, but you know, there's been enough talk for a while around. You know, this used to be an old man injury. Now it's, you know, it seems like it's happening more and more.
Mhm.
Then it immediately goes to the conversation about AAU and the way it's changed, and how if you go back, you know, 70s, 80s, 90s, guys didn't really take care of themselves. The facilities were different. You know, all these back and forth. You know, how it was, how it is now, all the access to technology, but then it's the miles, right? 82 game season, but they're playing 365 days a year in AAU. You know, you've heard Doc Rivers talk about it, you know, with his own son. You know, I think the numbers are reversed where it's like they play 6 days a week. They play games. One day a week they practice.
And the specialization thing too, right? Whereas when we grew up, we all played multiple sports. Now a lot of these guys either, you know, they just play baseball or they just play basketball. I think we're seeing a slight turn back the other way, right? But still, a lot of these guys, it's all they do is play basketball. And I mean, that can't be good when you do the same thing over and over and over again. Like Ashton said, the miles add up, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, it's the same argument with baseball too, right? It's like, well, guys, Nolan Ryan threw this many innings and he could throw this many pitches and this many. It's like, well, Nolan Ryan didn't throw 3 times a week or 4 times a week and play 17 games on a weekend at USSSA or perfect game. So no, yeah, you're right. He probably did have a little bit more bullets in the cannon, you know? So
yeah. Well, and in their defense, you know, I played multiple sports. I tore my Achilles at 34. It just had more to do with me being overweight, out of shape, and it didn't work out. So I wasn't in my prime.
Well, OKC, congrats to them, and they're set up. They're certainly set up to, you know, put together some sort of dynasty here. Whether that happens or not, we'll see. But they are.
Who'd
set
they
up
draft? They draft anybody great? Did they add to them
from Georgetown?
They took a good center. Again, another freshman from Georgetown. He probably won't even see the court next year because they're so deep, you know.
Yeah.
But he's a quality player, so they got
That's
somebody
awesome,
else waiting in the wings. You know,
It's what gives them all those picks we talked about. It gives them so much flexibility when all this cap stuff starts getting a little crazy, but it's just stockpiling assets so you can get off of the contract. So in this case, it's most likely Hartenstein. You let this kid play in the G League. You let him, you know, come up and play. Hartenstein's going to have a player option or a team option in 2 years. They're going to say, you know, you can take a haircut or we're just going to bring the kid up.
right?
Yeah.
So
Did
there's just stockpile picks.
Did most of their picks that they've got, like for the next few years, did that come from the original Durant trade, or is that from somewhere else? Or Westbrook too? I mean, those guys.
Nah, those have come and gone at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes from the Clippers. I mean, Shea came in the Clipper deal for Paul George.
Okay.
Right. And then you have all these other picks, but they've been accumulating these picks and dumping players and stashing players. I mean, you know, Horford had a cup of coffee there, right? And basically just said, go home and get ready for next year.
Yeah, they're ready. They're poised to, like we talked about it. They're poised to make a little bit of a run here for the next, 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
Well, they're what, plus 235 to win it next year.
Wow.
I mean, it's obviously a prolific favorite, but it's also, why wouldn't you put your money on that now before it drops into 100s?
Right.
Yeah.
They're still going to be the best team in the West. It's going to be super competitive, but each one of those 3 kids, and they're all still kids, is going to get better next year. So barring injury, and Chet missed 50 games this year.
Right.
So what happens if he's actually healthy, a little bit stronger and durable?
Yeah.
They may win another 10, 15 games, and then we're really talking about them being the best.
Yeah, you're talking 70-win season.
But that's the thing though, right? Like the Celtics, I mean, people thought it was like a foregone conclusion that they were going back to the finals this year, right? So because again, they play in the Eastern Conference, which is obviously a much weaker conference. You just never know, right? I mean, you just never know. So we'll see what happens. I mean, that's why they play the games, but they're certainly set up. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Well, again, this is not a tout show or a gambling advice show, but I will recommend maybe putting a little bit on that ticket. And if you're if you're someone that likes to play around with futures and pairing up things like Super Bowl winners and NBA champions and NCAA winners, maybe a nice little ticket with UConn, Oklahoma City, and insert your football Super Bowl champion here. Can't give that out quite yet. So, all right. Well, we had the draft last night as well. We have the second round going on right now. Jeff, why don't you jump in, kick us off here? And obviously no surprises at the top. It was kind of a Met draft, even though it was a talented draft.
Yeah. I mean, you and I were texting obviously last night during the draft, and the top 6 players were not a surprise. Maybe the order of 3 through 6 was slightly, surprising, but everybody sort of knew who the top 6 players were going to be. So that wasn't surprising at all. Brooklyn had 5 picks and they used all 5, which was a little bit of a surprise. I mean, that almost never happens, right?
Never.
I mean, sometimes even when teams have 2 picks in the first round, they don't use both of them, so they used 5 of them, which is kind of crazy. Whether they did a good job or not, time will tell. I mean, they're, a lot of people don't think so necessarily, but we'll see what happens there. The Phoenix thing, again, something we joked about last night. They take the kid from Duke with number 10, and then they trade for another center, so I don't know. I mean, it's not like the old – I mean, Oklahoma City could play 2 big men, and they did play 2 big men, right? So, I mean, obviously you need at least 2 centers, but it's just an odd thing. I mean, why would you why would you use that 10th pick on a freshman – center if you knew you were getting ready to trade for a guy who's actually pretty good? You know what I mean? It's not. I mean, the guy they traded for is pretty good. So
it's recency bias too, though. You didn't get a good haul for KD. You had a terrible trade for KD to begin with. You signed Bradley Beal, so everything's locked up. So your track record is, the arrow's pointing way down, and then you do that. I think if it's just a regular team, like if the Pacers did that, you'd just be like, getting some depth, right? Young kid, but this Phoenix, you're like, whoa, these guys are out of their mind.
Yeah, right. And then the other sort of controversial thing was the Pelicans, right? Traded next year's first round unprotected to move up 10 spots. That the player better hit, right? Who'd they take?
Kid from Maryland.
Right. I want to say Queen. Was it Queen?
Yeah.
Or was it? Yeah. So he better hit, right? Because the odds are they're going to be a lottery team again next year. So they basically just gave Atlanta a lottery pick, So hopefully Queen works out for him. But other than that, it was a nondescript draft for the most part. Selfishly, Jay, you and me being a UConn fan, I think it was a little surprising that McNeely dropped as far as he did. Mm-hmm. And I'm not necessarily loving the fact that he went to Charlotte. They had already taken Knipple, who, the two of them basically played the same position. So, I mean, that's a little strange. But other than that, it was the typical. I mean, what did you think of the draft last night, though, overall? It was kind of, I don't know. It seemed odd. Like the draft just seemed odd last night, don't you think?
I thought the overall production was off a little bit. I actually said while I was watching it, and I was happy they did it because I think Malika and the girl they had last night, it was interesting how they let the woman cook. Those two ran it, and like Billis chimed in. Perk was Perk, and then Billis chimed in, when he was basically called on. But those two ran the draft, and that's unusual for the last couple of years. So I thought that was the best part of the broadcast itself. Even when I flipped over to Stephen A. and the former guy from was it Myers, right?
Yeah.
It was just like circular conversations, no liveliness to it whatsoever. Even the surprises weren't like, whoa, what's going on here? And then the one word or the one sentence commentary from the chick when you walk off and you got to meet her, I think there was 2 crying moments. Everything else was just kind of, again, meh.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it wasn't flashy. I think the kid from Arizona or the kid from Texas that rocked the suit with no shirt. It's like, good for you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah.
So overall it just wasn't a great draft. I think it was also, we heard it earlier today too. It was like the championship was just Game 7 was just Sunday.
Yeah, they do it pretty quick.
I think even tonight would have been a 1-day buffer where you're just like, the draft's tonight. It just felt really rushed, really in our face. And it's like you're already trying to figure out how these teams are going to, jigsaw puzzle it back together. Free agency just started. And there's more moves. Like you were just talking about the Charlotte team. How do you keep Lonzo at this point?
It's good. It's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question.
You're drafting these guards. You're drafting the kid, last year who looks like he's going to be legit. They just took the center from Creighton. You know what I mean? That's a blue chipper, but it's a 4-year conference defensive player of the year. It's got to mean something. I just think they're building something different where Lonzo doesn't fit the bill anymore. Is that a January deal where you're bringing in some assets and more draft picks?
Well, maybe they're hoping that he could actually stay healthy for half a season, and then maybe they could trade him and get something for him, So, because he hasn't been healthy in years. So,
yeah. Well, this old man chimed in again the other day and said, take him and the other one that hasn't played basketball in 2 years and put him on the Clippers, and they'll bring a championship.
Yeah, I'm sure. Sure. Anyway, the part of the reason why the draft is this week is because the new season starts I think July 6th, right? So
yeah,
so you know what I mean? It had, like you said, maybe if they push it back one day. The other thing is a lot of times these NBA finals don't go 7 games too, right? So usually they're not that close together just for that reason. But
yeah.
Anyway, it just seemed odd. It just seemed off for whatever reason last night. So yeah, it happens, I guess.
Yeah, uneventful for the most part.
Yeah. So. And Bubba, you said you didn't get a chance to watch, right?
No, I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah.
I didn't watch much. No, I asked you before. Obviously, you told me kind of the headlines, and we went over them just now. But no, I didn't pay attention to it at all. Like I said, it kind of creeped up, and I'm not really that big into basketball anyway. And it sounds like I didn't really miss much.
No, you didn't. Again, it's funny because players are staying in college now longer than they did, right? Which is a good.
Well, they're making money.
Yeah, with the NIL stuff, and now now teams are actually starting to pay players and all that stuff. But even with that, you're still getting a lot of freshmen in the top 10, top 12 of the draft, right? So you're still getting a lot of players that people really don't know. It's not like college football where they're there for 3 years. They have to be there for 3 years. That's the rule, So
right.
when you have the NFL draft, if you follow football, you basically know everybody is getting drafted.
Right.
It's still not that way in the NBA, and it probably never will be. So
yeah.
All right. Well, let's swing out of there. We've got 2 weeks before the All-Star break. Hockey's over, but Bubba's bummed. So we're into baseball. We're almost halfway point. We got 2 weeks to go before the All-Star break. Anything jumping out at you want to talk about? I know we've done a Judge segment. We've done an FU Soto segment. So anybody got anything baseball oriented?
The only thing I'll say is, it's impressive. You guys have been paying attention to what this Cal Raleigh's been doing in Seattle. He's a young catcher. I think this is like 3rd or 4th year. He's on pace to hit 66 home runs. So
yeah.
He's having a crazy. Catchers usually wear down, obviously, as the year goes along.
Right.
A lot of times their offensive stats take a deep dive. But who knows, man? He's young enough that maybe he can keep a good portion of this up. Maybe he gets over 50. So
would that be the most all time for a catcher, or did Piazza hit 50?
He already has more home runs than any catcher's had by the All-Star break.
Wow.
And like Ash had said, the All-Star break's still a couple weeks away. So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the record. I don't know. Did Piazza ever hit 50? I don't think Piazza hit 50 home runs.
No.
So I'm not sure what the record is. It's probably in the 40s would be my guess. But he's, it'd be shocking if he doesn't get it. Anyway, other than that, it's their dog days of summer, right? It's been crazy hot up in the Northeast. So it finally broke today, thank God. But they were playing in 100-degree weather up here the past few days. So it's
Piazza's hit 40 twice. He hit it in 1999 and he hit it again in 1997 and 1999.
Yeah, so. I didn't think he got up to 50. So
that's a big number.
What stands out to me the most is the Dodgers with 7 All-Stars. They lead the league, AL and NL. Right. Yeah. That's when you pay for you have the highest payroll in the MLB.
They have 7 guys in the finals right now, because what happens is the fan
They've got to
voting,
vote. Okay.
Yeah, the fan voting ended yesterday, and then what they do is they take the top 2 at each position. So I think they have 7 guys like in those 2 pairings. Those final 2 pairings. Judge is in already, and so is Ohtani, because the top vote getter in each league automatically gets in, so they're in. Period.
I mean, you guys are Yankees guys. Are you pretty excited about Rice? I mean, making the All-Star team. That's guys.
Well, again, he didn't make it. He's
gonna. I think he's gonna make it though.
We'll see. I mean, he's young and he's having a good year, although he's tailed off considerably over the past few weeks. Yeah. So, anyway, they got a lot of good young players. So, Ash and I were actually texting about this today, as far as they've done a pretty good job in developing pitching over the past few years. Yeah. And they got a bunch of young position players too. So their farm system has produced players over the past 3-4 years, which is good to see. A lot of times
which is different than what the Yankees know,
because they usually trade them. That's what I was just going to say. I mean, they usually trade those, and they still do trade a lot of guys. But anyway,
yeah. What are we going to do? Let me ask you this. What are we going to do when the Rays make the World Series and they've got to play a World Series game at Steinbrenner Field?
So the Rays are on fire, by the way.
They're on fire.
Yeah.
On fire. What is the MLB going to do? Are they going to make them play in the Marlins Stadium? Because that is horseshit if they do.
I mean, I know that they said that they've been talking with MLB about just that, because, right now it looks like that at the very least they might make the playoffs, right? So they got to have a place to play in the playoffs. I haven't paid attention to it. Ash, and have you? Is that what you're talking about, playing in Miami?
I think they're going to have to play somewhere.
Is Al Lang's field still available? Is that?
Well, let's answer this a different way. We've seen the Rays make the playoffs before when they played in St. Pete in a dome, and we've seen announced crowds of 5,000. Okay, so selling out the Yankees minor league stadium, I would bet it's the biggest attendance in the last 3 times the Rays have made the playoffs.
I was there in 2008 when they went on that run. I went to game.
Yeah, that's 2008. I'm saying the last 2 times recently.
Yeah, the last couple,
Yeah. No, 08's different. 08's different.
They had the one COVID, right? So COVID is like, you're going to expect that, right? Yep. So you can't count that one. I don't know about the other one. I know they've made it 3 or 4 times in the last 7 years, but 08 for sure. 08 for sure was slammed. I mean, I was there for those games. There was packed house, but you're right. The COVID season, anything
in the 20s, we can look it up. I don't think they've done anything higher than 10,000 at any game.
Yeah, you're probably right. Honestly.
All right. So it's a win if you sell that place out. But back to where I was going with it is, there's no way Major League Baseball is going to go into that with the opportunity to make more money, both television wise and off of a gate for a franchise. Right. So, and it's going to be viewed as unfair somehow, some way. Revenue sharing, something will kick in.
Oh my God. Every single owner in baseball hates the Rays.
Right. So even if it's now it's a neutral field, so it's a disadvantage. And then, God forbid they start throwing in, let's just say it's Rays, Dodgers. Dodgers don't get a home game. It's just gonna be an all neutral World Series. Never been done before. Like, they can't risk doing that either. So I just don't see it. I would love it, obviously.
The controversy.
I'll rephrase. As a Yankee fan, I would not enjoy that. As a Tampa resident, I would love it, because it'd just be a different vibe altogether. Figure out a way to get those tickets and get there. Could you imagine, though, that just the thrill of a World Series game with 11,000 people would be the loudest 11,000 people you've ever heard?
Off of Del Mabry and MLK? I mean, that would be incredible.
Well, I'll throw a little cold water on that, because I just pulled up the article that I said I hadn't read. But what they're saying is that baseball, the Rays seem to be fine hosting the wild card series and even maybe the division series there. But baseball doesn't want them playing the championship series or the World Series there. They want them in a bigger stadium. So
wow.
So where's that going to be? Who knows? But it sounds like if they get that far, they'll be playing somewhere besides Legends Field. So
wow.
Normally we don't like
Steinbrenner Field or whatever.
Yeah, normally we don't like being fact checked, especially in real time. But for this time, we're going to take it and run with it.
But anyway, so we're on baseball. I want to throw this at you guys really quick. I saw an article today. Is Clayton Kershaw going to be the last guy? I think he's 3 or 5 away to get to 3,000 strikeouts. He's gonna be the
Mhm.
last guy of our lifetime, and maybe even every lifetime, to get to 3,000. Pretty impressive feat, and I think he's gonna do it on Wednesday or Tuesday, July 2nd, against the White Sox at home.
I don't know about that one. I mean, I know they talk about there's not going to be any more 300 game winners, which I probably agree with,
Yeah.
But 3,000 strikeouts because of how many times people strike out nowadays. I could see that happening again,
Yeah.
somebody lasts 15 years or whatever,
Yeah, you got it. That's the thing. And the next closest guy is Chris Sale, and he's got 2,500, and he's, how much longer is he going to play?
Right, and he's missed so much time too.
He has. He's missed like three.
He literally just broke his rib cage.
Yeah. So he's not getting it.
No.
And then the next closest guy I think was Garrett Cole, right? And then there was some other guys that were like in the low 2000s that have already played for 10 years. So,
well, let's use Cole as an example. I mean, I think Cole is over. I think he went over 2,000 last year, right? If I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So, if Cole pitches for another 8 years, he's got a good chance to get to 3,000.
Yeah.
Now, whether he pitches for 8 years or not, who knows?
Yeah.
But if he's willing to do that, he's got a good chance. So.
All right. Which ticket are you buying? The over or the under on somebody getting there?
Again, like in the future.
The way he phrased the question was in our lifetime.
I would take the over.
Bubba's significantly older than us, so we have a longer lifespan.
I'm going to take the under. I think that Paul Skeens will do it. I just don't think I'll be alive to see it. Maybe I will. I guess he'll do it in the next 20 years. Maybe I will be alive.
I hope you're alive, dude.
I'm cutting myself short.
Hey, Bubba, there's hotlines, man.
No, but again, he's the only one that I could see doing it, and that's if the guy. I'm not wishing that he gets hurt because he's a beast, right? Like he's got the body to do it. He's got the body to throw that hard, but like I don't see anybody else that has a chance.
Well, that's the thing. You always worry about those guys that throw as hard as because it almost seems like they get hurt eventually, right?
Right.
When they're throwing that hard,
right?
I mean, even Cole. I mean. Cole. At least Cole got into his low 30s, but his elbow gave out eventually, right? I mean, it seems to happen to all these guys. So, Ashton, to answer your question, Bubba, to answer your question, I'll take the over. I think somebody else will do it, but
not counting Kershaw,
right?
No, Kershaw. If you lock it up, I'd have to dig in a little bit more because for us right now, it's what active player has a legit chance over the next 10 years, right? And if Cole's got 8 left in him and he's doing, if you're telling me it's just 200 a year or 189, something like that. Yeah, sure. If he wants it, he could go and get it. I'd have to take a hard look. I think any of these longevity records in baseball, they're so tough to come by. It's who's breaking Ripken's record? Answer is nobody.
Because nobody would even want to play that many games in a row again.
Right. But if we're putting this in gambling terms, and hey, we'll give you over the next 30 years. So assuming we're all still here in 30 years, right? I would take a ticket, especially if it was plus, that no one gets there in the next 30 years.
I'd go the opposite.
Even money, I'd probably lay up to 120.
Yeah. I would definitely take the under in 300 game winners, but I would take the over in the strikeouts.
And this is for another podcast, but I'm a little skeptical of Ripken's record anyway, but that's for another podcast.
But Crazy Town podcast?
No, that's for the lights. The lights go out at the stadium. The lights go out at the stadium. So let's play tomorrow podcast. That's what that one's called.
I mean, we lived through it, dude. He played every game. I mean, it wasn't like he played one inning and then came out or whatever.
I know. You guys never heard the Kevin Costner rumor. I get it. I understand.
Oh no, heard the rumor. I certainly don't think we should tell that story.
No, that's why I said another podcast.
But for those that want to infer or imply, just think Nolan Ryan and Robin Ventura.
Yeah.
So
let's move on.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they want to throw at us?
I mean, I'm taking the NL all day to win the All-Star game.
I'll book that. It's an American League sport.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it usually that comes down to the pitching, right? Whoever's pitching better. I mean, obviously you got Skeens, but You know,
He's gonna pitch one inning.
Merkley's got Skubal, they got Freed. You know, I mean, they got good pitching. So who knows? We'll see what happens there. I thought you were going to say you were taking the NL for the World Series. I thought that's where you were going with that.
No, NL for the All-Star game.
Yeah,
Rays are winning the World Series.
Baseball wise, I mean, just just to sort of end the baseball conversation, I think it's been a pretty meh year, which has been the case over the past 4 or 5 years. I mean, baseball got exactly what they wanted. They put all these rules in place to get parity, right? And for the most part, they've gotten it. I mean, the only team that's basically saying F you and spending as much as they want to spend is the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And to this point, they only have one real championship. I mean, they've spent billions of dollars. They won the title during the COVID year, which almost nobody counts other than Dodgers fans, I guess. But nobody really counts that title. Okay, just like they don't count the Lakers title from the bubble in the COVID year. But the Dodgers did it last year, right? It's funny. I'm going on a tangent here, but I just saw somebody tweet, because we were talking about how the Dodgers owners bought the Lakers, right, last week.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody, talking about how this isn't just about spending money, that the Dodgers, have proven that they have a system that works as far as you spend money on some players, but you develop players. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, they don't have anybody on their team they developed. Everybody on their team that's actually any good is somebody that they're paying like $300 million to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so we'll see what happens with the Lakers in that regard. But anyway, MLB overall has been kind of mad this year. There's no great teams. I mean, the Dodgers, you could say, is a great team, I guess, but they're not really playing like a great team right now. So we'll see what happens. But Ash, anything to add to that? I mean, it's
Nothing.
Parody, man. I'm not a huge fan of parody, but
only one guy that they developed who's still on the team is Kershaw. That's it.
Yeah.
As
Okay.
far as contributors go, that's it. It's one
And
guy.
he was there way before like the new management team was. So I mean, they don't even get credit for him.
No, they don't.
So.
You're right.
Dodgers life. All right. No, I'm good there. Do we want to? We got 3 weeks until camp's open. Do we want to dare talk about football? We want to talk about Aaron Rodgers just saying, I think maybe it could be. Somehow that getting all kinds of traction. All right, I'm gonna do a McAfee real quick. Just kind of.
You got to get the pencil.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a shock that this is going to be his last year. If he didn't play for the Steelers, I think he would have retired, after the end of last year, right? Because I really don't think anybody else wanted him, to be honest with you. So we'll see what happens. I mean, he seems motivated. I think he wants to, say that what happened with the Jets was kind of a fluke. As a Steelers fan, the only optimism I have with him being their quarterback is that he definitely looked better in the last 4 or 5 games of last year than he did in the previous, 12 or 13 games, right?
Sure.
And again, that's another guy coming back from Achilles injury, okay? And he seemed to get better as the year went along. So you'd like to think that, I mean, his arm was fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with his arm. He can still throw the ball, but he was basically a statue back there until the last few weeks of the season. So if they can keep him healthy, they got weapons. But ultimately, who's the favorite? I mean, who is the favorite next year? I mean, you look at the odds. Who's the favorite? Is Kansas City the favorite?
Yeah, it's Kansas City and Buffalo.
Yeah.
And the Ravens.
So all the top 3 favorites are coming out of AFC, huh?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Eagles are not in the top 3. That's crazy.
I could be wrong there. Hang on. That's what I saw the other day.
Well, the Bucks.
Who replaced Najee?
Well, they still got Warren, and then they drafted the kid out of Iowa. I want to say Iowa.
It's Iowa.
I don't know. They drafted basically another Najee. They he's basically a copy of his running style. So
they're all. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Ravens, Eagles, Bills, all plus 700. So
okay.
And then, so Kansas City's not the favorite.
Plus 750.
Oh, okay.
That just shifted. I mean, that's hard. That's from our friends at Hard Rock.
Okay, there we go.
Friends of the pod, future sponsor.
Hope so.
Love that.
Yeah. So, Bubba, did you see that Tampa just extended Bulls and their GM?
Yeah, I saw that.
Which makes sense, right?
I mean, getting to the playoffs, winning Super Bowls. I mean, they're both been a part of that, so why not? I loved our draft this year, so I'm excited for it. I think the Bucks are going to be. I think the Bucks are going to be good. I think they're going to win the South.
Wait a minute, you loved the draft this year? Weren't you the guy who was like?
Before
the draft started. You were screaming all defense,
all defense, and then they went opposite, and then I've been converted that this is an offensive league, and I think I said it after. I think this could be the best wide receiving core, and Mike Evans even said it, that the Bucs have ever had. So I'm excited to see Baker Mayfield. I think our defense is fine. They're going to win the South handedly. I think their over under is like 8 games this year, 8 or 9 games, which I'm taking the over on that. Yeah, taking the over on that all day. So,
all right. Well, I think we're gonna have to get the producers of the editing team out. We're gonna have to go back and I think we were live during the draft at one point in time. So we're gonna have to play that side by side. We'll see if we can get a clip up this week.
Oh yeah, I was upset. I know I was upset. I admit that.
All right. Well, let's we're running a little long here, so let's go into bragging rights. We're dangerously close to this. I think we're going to have to give it 2 more weeks, and then we're going to have to change the title of this.
We're going to have to start calling it something else.
Yeah. So we have to go with like copyright infringement rights or something like that. So anyway, let's pull up last week's bragging rights. Let's see if we can get off the schneid here proverbially. Let's go over it.
Well, there's not much to talk about here. This was a rare one where I went 0 for 4. None of these came in. So Pascal had basically his worst game of the series, so he didn't score the 25 points. Nemhard didn't get the rebounds. He only needed 4. Anyway, 0 for 4. We can move on. Nothing to talk about.
All right. Fantastic. All right. That's loser number 1. Loser number 2. That's me. It's a nice looking number. 25 wins 1,200. Yeah. Cam Young is the only person who won his group. Everybody else lost 1 of 3. Moving on.
Yeah.
Flush it.
And Bubba, you came the closest.
I think I was the closest. Who screwed me?
Houston.
It was Houston, yeah.
It was Houston. I know that. I had the Pacers that night. And, all right. Yeah, I got nothing to talk about. Houston screwed me. And I'll just start with, I know it's not my turn, but I'm already out of this one. I'll still talk through my ticket, but I'm already out of tonight anyway. So
yeah, we noticed that earlier. Yeah. We got a kick out of you betting well, you know what, we'll save it till your ticket.
We'll save it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So for me, for this week, there was only one night game today, and I didn't want to bet day games, and Bubba will tell us why in a little bit. But so there's only one night game today, and it's the Braves versus the Mets. I took the over and runs at 8.5, and as I hinted at earlier, I took a flyer on Soto and Alonso both hitting home runs. Right now it's 4-0 in the 7th, so we got some work to do there as far as the over and with the runs. And let's see, Soto does not have a home run, and neither does Alonso. So I'm in good shape there. And then the other part of that was I made a huge mistake. For whatever reason, I thought that Canelo Bud Crawford fight was this weekend, but it's not till September. So
we're gonna have to wait a long time.
Well,
these guys hit home runs.
I was just gonna say. I mean, unless something changes in the Mets game, that's not gonna matter. But I do think Crawford's gonna win that fight. So if anybody's curious, I think Crawford's gonna win. I love Canelo. He's way past his prime, as is Crawford. It's funny, these guys always fight each other when they're past their prime. But I do think Bud's gonna win that in decision. So.
All right, we're gonna have to have the same group that's working on the Bubba clip to freeze frame this, and we'll get back to you in September. See how that fight turns out. All right, my ticket. So I figured out finally a way to not put in a ticket that involves Thursday night when we record the pod. So all of my plays are for tomorrow. I'd like to thank my good friends at the Hard Rock again for releasing tomorrow's lines early. So I was able to jump on that, create a parlay that should most definitely win. and we'll be able to check that. We'll post if it does hit, but we'll catch everybody next week to see. Lower odds, 25 to win 374. Yankees at home tomorrow, coming off a little bit of a road trip, -1.5. Orioles at home against the Rays, even though they're red hot. We like the home team. We like the home team in the Rangers, and the pitching matchup with Eovaldi going. And then the Reds, I'm basically looking at this as a play against San Diego on the road, coming off of a long, tough division week. So I kind of like this one, most of all because it's tomorrow, not tonight.
So you're a winner for at least 24 more hours. So
I'm a winner in my own mind, hero in my own story.
There we go.
That's it.
All right, Bubba.
Let's see what we got here. All righty. A little Japanese baseball for those that are wondering.
It's funny.
Let's get offensive. Offensive.
So I'm pretty sure the Mariners got smacked.
They did.
10-1 or 10-2, something like that.
Yeah. It was not good.
Not good. So anyway, 25 to win 348-3, but it's really 25 to win 0. I took the Braves. They are down 2, not by much, but they're down with little time left. And then I went ahead and took these 2 Japanese baseball teams. They're both favorites in the game, the Hiroshima Toyo Carp and the Yomiuri Giants. I took them, 1, because they were favorites, and 2, because I love both of the names. And I threw out a prayer, and the Mariners ruined it. They answered rudely to that prayer. So
yeah, they got crushed.
They did, yeah. And that game was quick too. That I want to say that game was like one of the fastest games that MLB's had this season. Very quick.
And 10 runs were scored, which usually that's not the case.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the other team scored 0 or 1. So
yeah.
Well, quick is good, but bad news doesn't get better with time.
Yeah.
Well, it's up to you, Ash. It looks like hopefully we could get a winner. So
we're all rooting for you.
I've got bragging rights tonight. I'm out alive. So strategy. All right. All right. Well, I think we can wrap this one up. We've got a low-key weekend sports-wise. Anybody have anything on tap?
Yeah, there's nothing going on. I mean, there's no NBA, there's no football, there's no NHL. I mean, it's basically just baseball, you know. So
yeah. I think Bubba and I will be out Saturday at a location to be disclosed. So we'll do a shout out on the DM if you're in town and want to join us. Come on out, watch some baseball and some golf, and have a libation or two.
Thanks to producer Juju.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So before we cut, please follow us again, all our socials. Send in your tickets. DM us at Casual Chaos Live. That's going to be on Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook. What's the other one, Jeff? What's
YouTube.
YouTube. Subscribe. Yeah. Blue Sky.
That's what I was looking for.
And we actually have been getting some more feedback from you guys, which we enjoy. So keep sending stuff in.
Yeah. Keep calling us names. We enjoy it.
We love it. We love it.
So we'll be back next week, next Thursday. Same recording schedule, so no change there.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh,
actually, next Thursday is 4th of July weekend, so we may have to adjust that. We'll see. So,
well, it's the 3rd of July for podcast purposes.
We might have to. We might have to do it a Wednesday. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to wrap this up? I mean,
let's wrap it up.
Let's do it.
All right.
I got that Gary Clark Jr. concert next Thursday.
Okay. All right. We probably won't edit this out, so we're just going to keep it.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Nobody's listening anyway.
We're going to be on a different schedule. We'll probably record on Wednesday, so Jeff can go enjoy his concert. It's a great concert, by the way.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, again, for Jeff, for Bubba, for producer Juju, thanks again for filling in. We do have an inquiry in the HR to see what the paternity policy is.
3 weeks,
Tyler.
3 weeks. It just seems like a lot. We miss your producer Tyler. So, but again, thanks for Juju for stepping in. Thank you all for listening. We had a great time as always. Thanks everybody. Great job, fellas.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Hi, everyone. This is Jay Ash, one of the hosts of the Casual Chaos podcast you are about to listen to discusses gambling and wagering on sporting events. Please be advised the gambling and sports wagering content during this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial or gambling advice. Sports wagering involves significant risk. If you choose to gamble, please do so responsibly and only gamble with funds that you can comfortably afford to lose. All opinions, wagering tickets discussed, or implied wagers on the Casual Cast podcast are not guarantees to result in financial gain. You must be 21 years or older or of legal gambling age in your jurisdiction to participate in sports wagering. Please verify the gambling and sports wagering laws and regulations within your jurisdiction prior to placing bets. Listeners are solely responsible for their own wagering decisions and outcomes. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call or text the National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. We encourage everyone to engage with sports betting responsibly. The host and the Casual Cast podcast assume no liability for any losses incurred as a result of listening to this content.